Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Surf for Beginners, Lesson 1. Inshallah, in this lesson, we will be introduced to the science of Sarf and the Arabic language as a whole. Now, the first question we ask ourselves is, what exactly is Sarf? Sarf is best translated into English as morphology. And basically, Sarf deals with making verbs. For example, if you have two people versus one person, how does the verb reflect those two people? And how does the verb reflect past tense or present tense? What is the change that takes place in the word? Base letters. One important concept that you will learn, and it's not difficult at all, inshallah, is base letters. In Arabic, majority of words come or are based off of three base letters. So here we have kaf, ta, and ba. Now, so the meaning of words, they come from one, they come from which letters you have, and two, they come from the placement of the letters. Okay, so for example, if we place these three letters, kaf, ta, and ba, and we put a fatha on each, it gives you the verb kataba, which means he wrote. Okay, and if you take the same three base letters but you put an alif after it, okay, it becomes katib, which means the one who writes. Okay, so basically both kataba and katib have the meaning to write, something related to that, but because of the placement of the vowels and extra letters, that changes the meaning. Okay, and again, you can replace with some other base letters like nun, sad, and ra. So if you placed nun, sad, and ra here, you would have nasara. So instead of he wrote, it would be he helped. Okay, so if you place those nun, sad, and ra here in katib, it would be nasir. Okay, and katib meant he, the one who writes. So nasir means the one who helps. Mapping the language. Now, one benefit I find in studying books like classical books of grammar and morphology versus the newer books like Medina Arabic or Arabic Tutor is that the classical grammar manuals, they give you a good map of the language in your head, so everything is connected. But in my experience, when I was studying Medina Arabic, it seemed everything was unconnected, and it was pretty confusing for me. So I find this beneficial. Inshallah, this book is based off of the classical way of studying this. So inshallah, it should be really easy. Now, the language itself, any articulation you make is called love. So any sound that comes out of your mouth is called love. If it is meaningful, it's called a mawdu', and if it's meaningless, it's called muhmal. And the author uses the word Pepsi as an example. He said before the creation of the drink Pepsi, if someone said the word Pepsi, it would have been considered meaningless. But now, because we have a drink called Pepsi, right, it's mawdu', it's meaningful. And if a word is mawdu', it can either be mufrad or murakkab. Okay, mufrad is single, murakkab is compound. A single word can either be a ism, which is noun, fi'l, which is a verb, or harf, which is particle. An ism is a noun or is a word that has a meaning by itself and it's not connected to one of the three tenses. So basically it has a complete meaning and it's not connected to one of the three tenses. It's not past tense, present tense, or future tense. Example is to run. Okay, to run is not a noun. It is a ism. It's not a verb. Okay, because there's no past tense, present tense, or future tense. So basically, what that means is in Arabic, a fi'l, a verb, needs to have a complete meaning by itself, and it needs to be connected to either past tense, future tense, or present tense. Right. So the example would be he wrote, which is it gives you a complete meaning. A complete word, and it is connected to the past tense. A harf, on the other hand, it's an incomplete by itself. It needs to be connected to another word to give a complete meaning. The examples are like for or to, like for what or to whom, right? You need another word to give it the full meaning. Murakkab is compound. So if your articulation is compound, either it can be a full sentence and be mufid, beneficial, or an incomplete sentence and be غير مفيد. Quiz. What is a verb? Now, I highly recommend that whenever questions come, you pause the video, try to answer it, and then press play and see if you got it right or wrong. So, what is a verb? A verb is a word that has a meaning by itself and it's connected to one of the three tenses. Okay? And what would the word Pepsi have been considered before the creation of the now famous beverage? Pepsi, before its creation, before the creation of the drink, would have been considered muhmal, right? Meaningless.